The next segment that we're gonna get into is our best bet segment. So we have some of the games that we've spoken about, but there's obviously some games that we didn't. We have the Raiders versus the Seahawks. The Seahawks are the -3.5 favorite. We've obviously saw the Raiders struggle. They came off a big win against the Broncos and with that walk-off touchdown to Devontae Adams. But I think the Seahawks, they're just a better, well-rounded team, and I think they'll be able to win this by more than a touchdown, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think this line is probably only close because of, one, the Raiders won against the Broncos, but also if you look at other games, they've somewhat been in them. I mean, we saw the Chiefs kind of beat the Raiders by a point. Um, but look, those are divisional games, and we know how those games go. Sometimes they end up being close games. I think against a Seahawks team, they're going to be able to take care of business. I mean, look, when you go and you go into like say ESPN fantasy football and you know how it shows like the stats against like, what your player is and how the other team does against that position,
Nah,
it's all green for the Seahawks this week.
nah.
Like they don't do anything well defensively, and you're probably not going to see some kind of offensive explosion from the Raiders. So they're playing in Seattle, right? We
Yeah,
know
which
how
is tough.
we know how the environment is over there. Geno Smith's been balling this year. Their defense has been opportunistic against a team in the Raiders who couldn't get across the 50-yard line at some points in games. So yeah, everything kind of sets up for the Seahawks to win this game. 3.5 point spreads, I'll take it. You know what I mean? Simple to me. And yeah, I look for the Seahawks to roll and keep hard times to the Raiders and Derek Carr emotional at press conferences because they can't win.
Yeah. So the next game for the best bet segment we got is the Bucks. They're the -3.5 or -3 favorite versus the Browns. They're going to Cleveland, but Cleveland, they're just, I don't know. It's just they're just a weird team. So I mean, I'm gonna rock with the Bucks to cover the spread. I think -3 is that's pretty generous, and I think obviously we've seen Tom Brady just strive in this time of year, this period of time.
Yeah, the Bucks kind of a rough season, but they've been playing better as of late and putting some wins together. This is a game where, I can see the Browns clamping down defensively, running the ball. But on the other hand, you look at the Bucks and they have, one of the best run defenses in the league. Um, we know they have Tom Brady. Tom Brady's kind of like that X factor that, yeah, he's not always forever perfect or anything like that, but in games like this,
He'll find a way to
he'll
win.
find a way to win. Also, the factor is that they throw the ball a lot because the run game hasn't really worked for them well this season. Tom Brady's throwing a lot, and if they could get up early, it's the Browns are one of those teams that they
Where you
don't
have to
have the
lean.
firepower to like come back from like a late 2-3 touchdown lead. It's just kind of not happening. So I could see the Bucks running away early with this game if things go right, but even if it's a close game, I think the Bucks will find a way to win this game and um, you know use their experience and their cohesiveness to get by. But this Cleveland team, who Cleveland, they won some of these past few games against teams that probably should have beat them.
Right.
At some point, I think things kind of self correct a little bit, and somebody's got to win, somebody's got to lose. Just the feeling around this game is that the Browns are going to end up short.
Right. Then lastly, we have the Giants versus the Cowboys. I mean, we spoke about it in our preview, and the Giants, I mean, they're +9 underdogs. I mean, I would take the points for sure, considering that the Giants could actually win this game, and kind of change the dynamic of their division and kind of fix that head-to-head loss that they had earlier on in the year. So I'm gonna roll with the Giants. I'm gonna take the points with the Giants. I mean, I don't think they'll. I think they'll bounce back, and I think they're gonna have a statement win.
Yeah, I certainly agree with you in terms of taking the points here. Giants have been a great team this year. They've been winning games. They've been finding ways. It's not always pretty. It's not by a lot of points, but they're always in it. You know, Cowboys, they come off that huge win against the Vikings. They're riding high. This line is probably a reflection of that, as we talked about earlier. And we know, look, these divisional games. We talked about the Chargers getting swept by the Chiefs. The Chiefs are an elite team, but but you have to realize also how hard it is to sweep teams in the NFL. Um, both the Giants and the Cowboys have been good teams this year. I don't see how the Cowboys come in and okay, could they win this game? Of course. I think it's probably a more. It's actually probably a somewhat evenly matched game. I think if you have the Cowboys at home, this line should probably be like -4.5 or something along those lines.
Right.
Um, but yeah, look, I think even if the Giants do lose this game, it'll be a close game. So 9 points, you give anybody 9 points in this league, good luck, because
Yeah.
a lot of teams aren't covering that spread on a weekly basis. So yeah, I like the points here.
All right, so that wraps it up for our NFL segment. We're gonna get back to you guys next week, and thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and let us know what you think of just this past week of football. Thanks for watching.